Hello, everyone. Welcome to Analytics are for the Nerds. We are very excited for this week's episode. We have Louis G here, who I believe is number one in his BBM league. Lou, welcome.
Hey. We got a lot to talk about with that. We got a couple other guys here that have some good BBM teams too. A lot of Buffalo, Western New York on that leaderboard. I want to talk about that. Mike Schopp's here with us from WGR 550 in the Deep End Podcast. Ryan Mura from his basement. And we can't let you out. I know you got a good team, but Mike, I know that. So this is the story about how I found out that I was even somewhat doing okay in BBM4 was 2 weeks ago now. Mike sent me a text saying, "Dude," and he sent me the leaderboard, and I had no clue. I wasn't following it. And I was in, I believe, like 14th at the time. And Mike, you were in what, 20th or something, maybe at your highest? I mean, you were
maybe
right behind. We were there, and I just couldn't comprehend it at that point. And then, settled into 8th that week. We talked about that last week. But Mike's the only reason why I started dialing in. And then last week had the monster week. We were on the air last week when DJ Moore was having the monster game, and I knew that was going to be pushing me up. Super cool to see me at the top of the leaderboard. I'm playing that up to the T with every trolling aspect that I can. But I do want to look at all the teams that we have, our top teams right now.
Well, before you do that,
go ahead.
Do you think you can win?
I lose Richardson and Achan today, both on that team. I think I was going to ask you. You're the math guy for me. I don't think the chances are much better than they were 2 weeks ago, right? But like they're better than anybody else.
Well, the question is how much worse are they with those two injuries? I feel like in these best ball tournaments, the lead is really important because, a lot of things change, but teams behind you have injuries too. They had Justin Jefferson, you don't, right? Mm-hmm. So they have Nick Chubb and you don't. I mean, it's hard to catch up in best ball, I think.
That's a really good point. And I know a lot of people are doing the whole bitching and moaning today about it, about the injuries and what it is. But at the end of the day, and this is easy to say, sitting at first on the leaderboard, but like, these are all things that you have to adjust to. That's why maybe 2 quarterback builds or 2 tight end builds aren't the way to go, or going wide receiver heavy and only having 4 or 5 running backs when, we both on both of our top teams, me and Mike, and I think maybe even you, Ryan, we have Mostert and Achan on both of those teams. And I think that's going to be an important part of playing best ball going forward, is realizing that these the running backs are the situations are so ambiguous that I think you're going to be building these best ball rosters differently. Or what is your thought of, and I thought about this today, but will they ever expand these rosters, or you think because of I think timeliness is a really big reason why they get so many entries, right? You can get a draft done in 20 minutes. I don't see them adding 3 or 4 rounds because of all these injuries to make it, make people more happy. But do you think that's a possibility?
Do I? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're trying everything and they're doing everything, but there's no reason for underdog to variate from BBM. I mean, like, it's literally 677,000 teams. It fills in an instant for 6 months, if not longer. So I don't think they'll change it, but they are coming up with neat variations on different tournaments to keep you going every week. I mean, they are just owning the space. I have Louis' team if you need it.
Do you have it?
We might want to look at it just to kind of see what's going on.
Let me see. I think
I got it.
Oh, okay. I have it now. Do you got it? Is it up?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
If you want it.
And Mike, you just kind of said something very interesting about how long this league goes for. But do we know how long the average person holds number one for?
I don't. I have had I've only been playing for 2 years, but no experience anywhere near the top. And if Louis had texted me that same night and said, I'm like in 8th place, I would have just, I'm going to bed. I would not have even looked. So because my team was up there, I looked. And so it's not anymore. I have Sutton and Mims and needed points last week with Keenan Allen on bye. And I got a combined 0.1, maybe, just like disastrous. So I'm in the 230th range. But no, I just like, I'm not sure I'm right, but I feel that people sort of think when you have a lead like this and you know how hard it is to win, that maybe you're just destined to lose without Achane or without Richardson. But I'm not so sure. I think, of course, this increases in likelihood as you get closer to week 14, but I mean, it's 5 weeks down and first place is first place. So I think, it's worth watching.
When you break down the math, I mean, we are, a third of the way through the regular season prizes, right?
More.
So like, more than that. So like there, I like Howell. I have in there Pickett's scary a little bit, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think that he's in danger of losing that job, even if he continues to struggle. So I do think I'll have those two. Hopefully Richardson's a 4-week injury. It does not sound that way. But with both of those injuries, something that I'm kind of optimistic about is Miami obviously good. So they'll be ready to bring back Achane as soon as he's healthy. Richardson, like that division is kind of garbage. So Indy should stay in this race, even with Minshew at the helm. So I think that they would be inclined to try to get Richardson out there. Young asset. Do they want to save him? I don't know, but I think you're right in the sense that I don't need them. I would be hurting a lot much more today if I lost Justin Jefferson off of this team.
And I think one of the other important points here too is that you have to look at this in two separate, for two separate outcomes. One is the regular season prize, which is what you're chasing right now. And then, of course, as you get in, which this team is almost a lock to make it, given the lead it has on the other teams in your division. Once you make it, of course, it's basically a 3-week DFS sprint, right? To just advance, survive and advance to the next round. So that's where I think your advantage comes back in with someone like Richardson and Achane.
That's right. There's not much correlation on Lou's team. In fact, the famed Walrus Balls, who was in first place last week.
R.I.P. Walrus Balls.
R.I.P. Walrus. That was my yearbook quote. I looked at his roster or hers, and there was no correlation at all. So I think a lot of people either meaningfully play for that or they just end up there, right? Because you're not thinking about week 17. It's a lot to juggle. I mean, that is going to be a challenge for this team. I think, Lou, if you disagree, tell me in the playoffs. But if you win the regular season, who cares?
I agree with you 100%. I will say that I started coming around. I did not know. You asked me when I drafted this, and I knew it was a later draft because of where it's set up, and you could just tell where people are going. But Underdog actually announced today when they shared that I'm number one, no big deal, that it was September 4th. So very late draft. And I think honestly, Monday. my mindset here was one of two things. Get as many drafts in that night as possible because we were going to Vegas the next day. And two, the whole year I spent just too much correlation. I felt like I was just in a vacuum, just not even. I wasn't doing where if it's a tiebreaker, I'll go with the correlation. I was seeking out correlation to losing a lot of value there, and I just didn't. I wanted to do some different things there at the end. I think at the end you can really just start playing for. Who's, especially at the end, who's got this high upside. I built this team completely different. I never would have built bully tight end. I know a lot of people are mocking that in the threads here talking about this team, but Andrews was what? Sixth there. No, round four. I got him in, and so him sitting there. I would have liked Brees on that team right now, looking at Brees going just a few picks later, but I wouldn't have been here without that. Without everything that looking through this draft, as you can just kind of look at the few picks each side. There would be nothing that I could have changed that would have had me in a better spot. And so I do feel like as of through 5 weeks, this was the perfect draft. But big wins here with Kyron Williams and Puka. One at the end, the last 2 rounds. I want to talk about Rondale Moore here quickly. I mean, this one might be where 3 of them, my last 3 picks really might help, bring me into the top 1,000 because everyone's fighting about DeMarcado or Ingram. Is it not possible that Rondale Moore is like getting the most rushes in that backfield come Sunday?
Sure. Yeah, I could see that. There's some talk that he's already, been getting some of those touches, or that's their plan. One of the things I want to touch on something you just said about a perfect draft. I actually don't think that there is a perfect draft, right? I mean, you look at, 12th round Mingo, right? That's not something that's been helping you this year, but that's not the point, right? It's about picking the players that, your last 2 round picks, those are huge smashes. That's what I think propels you. But it's also about picking players who in specific weeks have the spike week that, perhaps in a position where you'll need it, right? And it's not necessarily, so you can look across all these rosters, right? We have a lot of similar players, but the difference is that you can pick a player that makes a difference in week 2 that I didn't have, that gives you a 60-point boost or, something like that, just based on the differences of what you have. So I love looking at these drafts after the fact and analyzing it. And, we, as a fantasy community, I think there are a lot of conclusions that are drawn from these drafts the following year, right? This could lead to a late round quarterback approach. But it's great to see. It's really fun to watch, and I'm certainly rooting for you. I think we're all rooting for you here. So it'd be great to see.
Yeah, sorry about Mingo. So that's your only that's your
around. Right. Maybe that works out. Maybe it works out.
Go ahead, Nelly.
No, I know we have a couple injured players on your list. Kelsey's ankle right now. Is he back?
Kelsey's expected to play tomorrow. That's good. Richardson and Achane are the 2 big ones. Again, going back to my build, I did this purposely on a lot of these backfields where you didn't really know what was going on, or where you had an older guy and a younger guy that might have needed some time to get here. I did this a lot where I put a full backfield. Even some of the ones that had 3 guys, I did a lot of Philly where I did all 3 guys in the backfield. Losing Achane does not hurt because of the added value that Mostert gets here. So it does not hurt as much that I have him on the team.
I think the way it hurts the least is that I'm sure there are a lot of teams up near us that have Achane. Like he's somebody that was picked in the second half of drafts and has been the most productive fantasy running back in history in small samples. So he's going away. The teams, if other forces converge, all the teams at the top will sort of fall down underneath. If I don't know what it is, but some other Jerome Ford has 2 smash weeks in a row or something like that. In which case I'll be in first and I'll be happy to come back on.
You heard it here, everyone. You heard it here. Speaking of that, Mike, I know you and Louis both share some portfolios. So do we want to talk about that? You guys got a couple. You're invested, which is
I'm willing to talk about some of that.
Okay. Well, that's kind of why I wanted to talk about our 2 mains, mostly because they do come from they come from 2 different places, right? We are very strong in one. I've been telling you this all year. We usually have Wednesday meetings because of life. We haven't been able to too much. But I've been texting you all year, like, I think this team that we have that's 1-4 is good. Like, it's not scoring points though, and it's not. I'm pulling it up now.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I got this. This is Pacifico's. All right, I just want to make sure.
This team is 1-4.
This is Papa Grande's, right?
Here, this team is 6th.
Okay.
This team is live. I mean, it's
this
6th,
team is very live.
It's live. This one's good. This is Friday night in Las Vegas, where we drafted Cooper Kupp at 5'11" and Jonathan Taylor at 7'11". So
because of the uncertainty between them, we got them both late, and we started off real hot, and then, things have kind of fallen down a little bit. We're hurting at quarterback, right? Like,
we need Prescott. Like, we have Lamb and Ferguson, and if Prescott gets going, the schedule maybe helps a little bit going forward, but it's been, Sunday night was terrible. They've had a couple, lost to Arizona. Just that has to go right for us, because this team is not going to win streaming quarterbacks unless somebody, like Go Bills 2 years ago, somebody drops a Joe Burrow. And we can do that. If that doesn't happen, and this team was drafted so late that that's unlikely. But look at that bench. Taylor, Achane now on the bench. Tutu Atwell, I think he's locked in. You and I have sort of differed on him, but I love having him. So this is an interesting team.
We haven't differed on him as much as the one thing is you were pretty solid on him still having a pretty decent role. He scores a touchdown last week, even with the emergence of Kupp. I don't want to get rid of him. That's for sure. No. I think that's he is sticking on this.
I'll get rid of you before I get rid of Tutu Atwell.
Speaking of that, as a shared custody co-parent on this team, what is your big? What are you guys butting heads on terms of playing and benching players for this coming week?
Ooh, that's a good. It hasn't really happened yet. I would put Dak in over Mayfield and Ferguson over Smith against the Chargers on a Monday night. It's been ugly. It's been bumpy for Dallas, but that's our bet. And I don't mind having Mayfield or any backup there, but Lamb is on this team. You end up sitting a couple guys who are really good. Like right now, again, Taylor is on this bench, as is Atwell, not to mention Javonte Williams, who's cleared. There's no way we start him tomorrow, I think. You just sort of have to wait that out. But what you want to have a team that can qualify, and then, because it's not going to be the world leader going into the sprint weeks, have that sort of those, cross rights on the bench where you can sort of put them in and score like last year's Go Bills team did. And these guys are better than those guys, McKinnon and Zay Jones. Just have those sort of counter moves in the playoffs. And so we're set up. We just have to make it.
Yeah. I really like this team a lot. Garrett Wilson has to get going, but that seems like it's getting a little bit better, right? Kupp looks like he's going to be Kupp. And just to my point on my underdog team, we don't lose a lot with the Achane injury, having Mostert there just to step in. And that was tough. Did we put them both in last week or not?
No,
I can't remember.
But I remember is the draft. So we're in Las Vegas the Friday night, and we drafted the top 7, including Taylor and Kupp, not in that order, right? Or whatever it was. And then it comes to 9-11, and there was Mostert and Achane, but we wanted Laporta at 9-11. We wanted Laporta because we didn't have tight end yet, and the Dolphin thing was, we'll get one of them. And Laporta went a pick or two ahead of us. Then we picked Mostert and Achane at that turn without Laporta. So, who knows which one, but that would have been fun too.
That would have been fun to have a Laporta team.
Is he tight end 1 in Dynasty?
Ryan saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
So in Mike, your Empire League that the three of us are in here, Louis, Mike, and I, I'd made a trade on the draft day, the day of the rookie draft for I traded away Devontae Adams for 3 second-round picks that Mike Christensen had. And the reason I made that trade essentially was for who was still on the board. It's Sam Laporta. I mean, his rookie profile going into the draft was very receiving heavy. And now with what he's done in the first 3 games, I think it's only second to Mike Ditka in what he's done in the first 5 weeks of the season as a fantasy tight end. So he's already looking like a fixture of that offense. Detroit is looking set up for years to come, given that Goff is really not even that old. And, who knows if Herndon's a thing, but man, Detroit just all around is looking nice. So
I don't have him number 1 yet, but he's got to be up there for consideration. I'm maybe this is just being cursed by Pitts for this long and just loving him as long as I have. But I still would find it hard to trade Pitts for Laporta straight up. I got
an offer in our wrestling league the morning after our game with the guy that I beat who had a great score, which was Pitts for Laporta straight up. And I said no.
And you said no.
Because of the principle of it. Like, he's chasing the sirens. He's all right. So good week for you or whatever. Like, I'm coming after, I'll tempt you with something that sort of takes advantage of your senses right now, because right now this is what's happening. But I can't agree to a trade like that, especially if I didn't think of it.
This is the other team here. This is the team that I swear is good, that is not performing. And what's tough with this type of team, and I'll scroll down here, is that when it is deep, right? Like, you see these names, there's not a lot of opportunity to try to find where to get better, because, so Patrick Mahomes hasn't totally been Patrick Mahomes, but you're not ever sitting him. Breece Hall had a horrible start, but he looks like he's getting it going.
Gibbs.
I'm done believing in Gibbs. Especially now Campbell talking. I just, what a miss. And I think both of us, maybe even Brian too. I mean, I think we were all on him a lot. Makes zero sense with how it has, but it's 100% been deserved. I mean, Montgomery's played well. They really haven't given Gibbs a chance to really get going. But
take the Lions side of it, Lou. So they pick him 12th overall, and that sort of looks egregious. Like, it's a running back. It looked bad the first night. Why are you doing that? Now you have a team where you don't really use him. That looks bad too. What exactly were they supposed to do? Like, they are nice on both sides. This is the Bills of the last couple of years. They sort of don't have a glaring need. So the Lions could have drafted JSN at 12, and maybe that's better, but their offense is fine.
Yeah.
And they have Jahmyr Gibbs if they need him or if they want him to sort of pivot in a playoff game or something. So I don't know. Like, of course, it's not good use of draft capital. They traded for that. They traded down actually for that pick, right? They traded down with Arizona to get Gibbs, but still, like, you wouldn't optimally do that, but it gets more hate than it probably deserves. I mean, the coach is not interested in that. He doesn't care at all. Like, he's just trying to win games. Josh Reynolds has been useful. Raymond, of course, Laporta has worked out. I mean, it's going fine. So,
yep. And I think the one fear in the offseason about Gibbs in this happening was exactly what is going on right now, which is Montgomery is filling the role that they want and ultimately taking it away. Just quickly on this team, I note what Mike was saying earlier about switching on your other team, the Dallas guys in. I like that move for a couple of reasons. I actually think I would switch both of your tight end moves here and start Jonnu in this one and bench him in the other one, because so if we're looking at LA, it looks like with Kupp returning, it's going to most hinder Higbee's target share. I mean, Atwell still had 8 targets. Kupp's going to get his, and Puka's not going anywhere. So if anyone's going to take a hit in that offense, it's probably going to be Higbee. So, you may want to throw Jonnu in there, because I love the matchup against Washington. I mean, they're terrible against tight ends. So I like the idea of starting him, but not over Ferguson because, like Mike, I agree that Dallas is just going to eat. The point total in that game is 51. I mean, that's going to be a shootout. I think they're going to get right back to throwing the ball around and getting back to Dallas. San Francisco is elite. We all know that. So people might be hesitant to start their Dallas players, but I would just go right for it.
I like that Kellen Moore revenge game. Maybe Dallas runs on every play. Otherwise, I'm fully on board here. And we have Atwell. So can Arizona keep up? Jonnu played more snaps than Pitts, or more routes, or both?
Yeah, I think this was this last week was the first time it was closer to 50-50, but it's been Jonnu the last 3 weeks. So yeah, I like that play, and it seems like they're both going to be able to be part of that offensive game plan there. Addison here, big bump up with the injury to Jefferson. I think that should help us here. Jacoby Myers is one of the most underrated players in fantasy football. He's not sexy to put in there, but he just produces.
He's good.
Look at it. He's good. He's just good, and I think that's going to continue. Your boy Tutu, and then we still have Achane on the bench. If we get there, we're going to have to score a lot of points here. To JSN, disappointing. Dotson, disappointing. One or two of these guys pop, and not only do we need them to pop, but we need to find the right time to get them in their lineup. We're probably a week or two away from really starting to get some desperation, high ceiling plays, but I don't know. Looking at this roster, I'm just like, how is this team 1-4? But it is.
Here's a question. Maybe we're over it, but how do we feel about Cooper Kupp's return? Anyone want to touch on that?
Grand slam. Awesome so far. I mean, week 1, he got 4 passes on their first 6 plays. I mean, it's just as long as he holds up, I think it's great. I think the one problem about that team is Mahomes has not really happened yet to the extent that we drafted him in 211 or 302. But yeah, Kupp is a great result. He went on IR before the season. The best he was going to do was play week 5, Allie, and he did great. So he projects really well right now. He just has to stay on the field like everybody.
Stay healthy. Yep. All right. So that was great talk. Congratulations on everyone being number 1. Okay.
We're all number 1, tied for number 1.
That's not how this works. I'm not sharing the money if I win.
No, it's very good. Congratulations. I know you guys put a lot of effort into this, so it shows. Next up, though, we're going to talk about our sleepers and busts for the week. We're going to do a nice little round robin, and you can tell us both your sleeper and your bust. And we're going to first start off with Ryan. Ryan, who are your sleepers and your busts for this week?
I'm going to follow the rules as instructed and only have one of each. So my sleeper of the week is Quentin Johnston. So piggybacking off of what I had said earlier, the Chargers and Cowboys game is the highest point total of the week. That's where I typically look for my sleepers, just a lot of points. I expect this to be a shootout. You have a bye week that the Chargers are just coming off. Herbert, yes, does have a brace or a cast on his finger, on his non-throwing hand. I don't expect that to be a problem. Eckler is likely to play in this game, but Quentin Johnston is very likely to, by the end of the season, take over that second receiver role now that Mike Williams is out for the season. And if the Cowboys do focus on trying to shut down Keenan Allen, I do think that's going to open up some opportunities for Quentin Johnston. So he's my sleeper of the week.
Perfect. Do you want to go into your bust?
Sure. I'll go right into it. So my bust of the week is Kenneth Walker. And he's playing the Bengals. So on paper, this matchup actually looks great. The Bengals are porous against the run. And so it actually Walker has, typically been projected in this position to be the second or third highest scoring running back. The reason I'm not huge into it are, really there's 2 reasons. Number one, the emergence of Charbonnet prior to the bye week that the Seahawks just had. Charbonnet was starting to get an increased workload, especially in the passing game, and that was coming at the expense of Walker. And secondly, Walker has not had a single game yet over 100 rushing yards. He got close one game, I think it was 94 or 97 yards, but hasn't broken the century mark. And if he's not going to be as involved in the passing game, and the Bengals are starting to look more like the Bengals and score a lot of points, that ball is going to go to Charbonnet and not Walker. So that's why I'm thinking, and here's where I'm nerding out, and they're just starting to, okay, all right.
We all know Charbonnet was huge in week 3, so we
come on.
Once again, the wise rhyme everyone. Fun bits. Mike, do you have your great job, by the way, Ryan? Your sleepers
so
and busts.
Yes.
Well,
I didn't know there. I was not aware there would be any math, but I am going to come up with a couple here. You tell me if he doesn't qualify as a sleeper, but I feel like Josh Downs is generally underrated / undervalued in fantasy. And I don't even really think it matters that it's Minshew for Richardson. Minshew is good and, maybe more passing oriented than Richardson, who has done really well. It's such a shame that he's out because he was always fun to watch, but just injured already a second or third time so far as a rookie. But Downs is like getting targets, getting snaps, getting looks. The coach knows what he's doing. They're tied for first, and it's at Jacksonville, revenge for Minshew, then Cleveland, New Orleans, Carolina. That's not just for this week, but I think Downs is somebody you want to have on your team. So I'll say him. Busts, I feel like I was a little safe with sleepers because everybody sort of watching an intelligent fantasy football themed podcast like this already sort of knows that. But so I'll take a leap with Bust and say all the 49ers at Cleveland. Cleveland's defense is great. It's west to east for a 1:00 game. And they've had all the hype. They played Sunday night too, so it's a little bit shorter even. And I don't know, like the Browns offense could be a disaster, PJ Walker or Watson. But I think the 49ers guys, I don't know who you sit there. Like McCaffrey, you don't sit. Ayuk, Kittle, and Samuel all can be guys that you might sit if it's like 60-40 or closer. And so I'll say take that chance because Cleveland's defense is really good and it's a long trip. West East is sort of unlucky for those teams. The trends are against it. Such a good team though, but even Purdy in a super flex, you have Purdy versus Sam Howell or something. And you might want to favor the other guy.
I love it. And Mike, you're a man after my own heart because every week I always pick for my bust the Minnesota Vikings minus Kirk Cousins. So I love that you chose the 49ers. So great insight.
Let's go.
For Vikings. And then Louis, would you like to give us your sleepers and the bust of this?
Yeah. Man, I was going to go off of something Mike said, and now I forgot. But for my sleeper, I'm going to go with Rondale Moore. And I know this is the second time that I mentioned Rondale Moore on this podcast today, but I really like it for that reason. I think there's a lot of people that are out trying to decide on who's going to be that top guy here. I think that he ends up not only getting a bigger role in the passing game, but I think that they'll use him a little bit out of the backfield, try to run some more unique plays with him. And he was already coming on before this. So I like Rondale Moore there. Oh, I remember now. I like Mike's point about the 49ers because like last week, I said I was going to fade Hopkins because of the great Cleveland defense before Bradley mentioned that they were not playing Cleveland. And I kind of got that a little confused. Something was going on with Paul Gus. Nevertheless, I think the Cleveland great defense point was solid. And going back to another kind of situation that we talked about as far as when it comes to bust, I'm going to go with Kyron Williams this week. And that's mostly because of a few different things. I do think that they're going, they're obviously becoming more of a passing offense. They have another mouth to feed. Williams has really dominated the work share there until last week. Rivers started getting a little bit more look there. I think that continues. I also think that Arizona's a better team than we gave them credit for here. I mean, they're obviously sticking in these games. I think that will only hurt his value if they don't get off to like a big lead where they're just riding them. And if they get into a really big lead, maybe they just ride Rivers in the second half. So I'm going to go with Kyron Williams. I don't know if that's like a huge take that's a bust, but I mean, he's in the top 10 of most people's rankings. Mike,
Excellent.
You look like you wanted to say something. I'm sorry.
He's going to say you're wrong.
That was an act.
Well, Mike, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Mike, thank you again for your insight. Huge accomplishment. Also, you're top 250 in a 667,000+ member league. That's massive. Everyone, please listen to Mike on WGR 550 as well as his really great podcast, The Deep End. We really appreciate you and great insight. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Allie. Like Mike McDaniel said yesterday when he got a question about being first in yards all time after 5 weeks, he said, "Mission accomplished."
Bye, Mike.
Bye.
That was great. Great insights, everyone.
So great. Mike told us when I texted him to be on the show, I told you guys this before the show, he said, what is the content going to be? What are we going to be talking about? And that was Mike talk for saying, I'm not playing any of your dumb fucking games. So we're going to talk about fantasy football and get somebody else here for your stupid games. But we did. We got somebody
Before
else.
we get into stupid games, I do want to ask Ryan, because Ryan also huge week for Ryan on your Dynasty League. Do you want to talk about any of your big players, the people you're benching, anything? Because you're killing it there too.
Well, Mike, in one of the leagues, that same league I mentioned, he and I had a matchup, and he had in the 3-year history of the league now, the highest scoring team. He had Justin Fields and DJ Moore. He had Calvin Ridley. I mean, he had basically ETN. He had everybody that went off, and so that's horrible. It's horrible feeling. I also had an excellent week. I can't even remember who. Diggs had a big game. So I made up for it. I was about, I think, 15 points short, but that's how it goes in fantasy. You just have to move on, right?
Yeah. Great job though. I know you're killing it. So we love your insight.
Real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
real quick. I know you
please.
want to say something, but I almost texted you earlier about this. And are you okay if I talk about it on the pod? That you sent me a trade offer in that league earlier that I don't think is horrible, and I was going to text you like, "Hey, I'm thinking about this," but but now maybe you can remind me of it.
Sure, I remember exactly what it is. So
Okay.
it was I was offering Kendra Miller and a 2nd-round pick for Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, and I don't think that's brutal. I think I at first thought this is fair. And thinking about it a little bit more, I'm like, it's probably a little bit light. I do have Charbonnet on that team, so I don't hate the idea of getting rid of Walker for some value. I'm a big Kendra guy. We talked about him enough. I think any offer that I don't automatically hit reject immediately to is good. But with the Empire League, like there's just so much more to like really think about when it comes to trade. You don't want to make a team like yours even, that much better because you're, capable of winning 2 years in a row. And so you gotta really decide on many, many different things. I don't know if I've won more than, I don't think I've been over 500 in that league once. So, it is time soon to start winning and not rebuilding, but I'm not 100% saying no to that trade yet. We might have to go back to the drawing board. Ryan,
I think that what he's trying to say is don't ask for a trade when he's sober. Do it later. So he's like,
it did come in the middle of the night. So he was hoping that one of us is drinking, I think.
Send over a bottle of wine and then he'll.
No, it came in at 10:10 p.m.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
Always does.
And Mike, I always know it's 10, 12 p.m. Listen, I want to say Mike mentioned it before the podcast. I didn't want to awkwardly bring it up again, but I want to tell you that today I at least took it down to see what type of batteries it takes.
Is it double A? Like every
it's not, because if it was double A, I was going to do it. And I was going to set it for a different time to see if you guys noticed. But it didn't. It did not. It's not double A. It's one of those weird ones with a prong and stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's a battery.
The lobster.
I think I have to plug it. I think I have to plug it in. I don't know how it works. But don't worry. Pretty soon I'm going to win BBM and I'm going to go buy a new clock. So I don't have to put any fucking batteries in. So
every 1 week at a time. So while you guys were doing, I'm just going to give a little shout out. While you guys were just racking in the points in fantasy, I had again, I'm a working comic. Louis, step it up. I got to see our dear Kyle Turner in beautiful, cloudy Attica, New York this weekend. He doesn't say hi, but we still love him.
Oh, he doesn't say hi to us. Okay, I thought you were just saying like you went there, he didn't say hi to you. You worked in front of him. He booted you out of the green room in Attica, which is just a picnic table.
And Kyle was like, "Did you get any weird guys to follow you yet?" And I'm like, "I don't think so. So step it up, weird guys. Show me what Kyle's talking about."
You got to show a little bit.
Really follow, but on social media.
Yeah.
So dateline me, okay. But we have a very, very, very glorious comic who's going to come on. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of Lou's. He just celebrated an anniversary. Big knowledge.
I did.
He hates Ryan, by the way. He does. Good friends with
Everyone knows this about him.
I don't.
As the only one without a beard in this podcast,
I don't hate
Ryan. Can we play Guess Who? Does your person have a beard? And then I'm like, but Clayton Williams, everyone. Clayton, thank you for being here. You also have a really great podcast. You have a great podcast, and it's you review movies with fellow comic Rick Matthews. Do you want to say anything about that? Plug that.
Yeah, Nobody Watches Everything. It's every Friday. We put out an episode when we can because we're lazy. Right now we're actually, right. We're doing we're reviewing franchises this season, and we're on the Rocky franchise right now. So it's a good time. I think Rocky 2 is this week's episode, maybe. Yeah, Rocky 2 for sure is this week's episode. So check in if you want to hear us talk about Rocky 2 and our hot takes on that weird ass movie that we all love. Like, it's way weirder than you remember. Everyone remembers it way differently. It's fucking weird.
And if it's not this week, will be the next 7 weeks. You'll post it. So we're
it's all coming up. It's yeah.
I love it.
Is there a bad Rocky movie? Because obviously,
yes.
No, everybody says that everybody's obvious answer is 4, but like, fuck that.
Whoa. 4? No, that's 5. That's Rocky.
Sorry, 5. Tommy Gunn. Okay, sorry. And everybody says 5, and I don't hate 5. I don't hate like Tommy Gunn, and the fact that was like that made people bought his boxing matches because he was in that fucking movie. He was horrible. He wasn't even a good boxer. He wasn't even a good real life boxer.
Terrible. Terrible.
He wasn't good. So that one was super cheesy. I always think about the scene where is it Tommy Gunn where he punches like his black manager just on the car and he just sprawls out like he just got shot.
It's got a Don King manager. It has like Rocky 5, and like we haven't done the episode yet, but like Rocky 5 is the weird one because it's coming off of like these superhero movies that made Rocky save America and stop the Cold War and all this other wild shit, and then you got to go. He's like, well, I'm just back in the neighborhood because I'm pour. Like, he's like, so I have to fight. Now I'm a trainer, and now I got to fight this dude like just on the street. Like, it's...
why is Rocky still working at the meat deli by fucking? You've done 4 heavyweight fights, and you're still walking down. And why are you wearing sweatpants, dude?
Rocky, what you missed? Rocky 4 is Rocky's
listen
like
to our episode.
So yeah, it's
yeah. Listen to our episode of Rocky 2 because we get into that because Rocky's not good with money. Like let's just say Rocky is terrible with money.
If
I
you're looking
highly
for...
recommend the podcast, everyone. It's 2 comics riffing, which is some of the most enjoyable moments of anyone's life when 2 comics just go back and forth. So Clayton, we really appreciate you being here.
Kind of like me and you on this podcast.
You know, thank you for having me.
That, you know, very similar.
And also welcome to Ryan Murrah, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
How does it feel?
Did you guys hear Clayton hates me?
New podcast.
I don't hate Ryan.
Clayton, have you heard the big news? I'm sorry, we're all talking.
Oh no, go on.
But Clayton, did you hear the big news? Have you seen? I know you'd probably block me on social media, but do you know that I am sitting in first place in the BBM? This is Best Ball Mania. Don't be thinking. Don't be thinking of it. 667,000 entries. Your boy is first place overall. First prize is a cool $3.5 million all together combined prizes. I'm probably gonna finish 10,000th and have an extra $100-200 for you. But listen, when I win that $200, I'm taking you out for a drink.
Hell yeah, that sounds perfect.
He's gonna walk around like the guy in Role Models when he just has everyone kiss the ring.
I'll tell you on something stupid like a Halloween mask, like the Burger King mask or something so stupid.
I was gonna wear the Burger King crown today if I could find one. I was literally trying to find one just so I could wear it today. Like that's all I want to be the champ for 1 week. That's it. I don't need the money. I just want the notoriety. I want people to be.
Whoa! Look at rich guy Lou over here. He's like, I don't need the money. It's all
I don't need the money. Listen, I was going around today and I went shopping at the mall and people were like, that's $5,000. And I just pulled up my phone and I go, number 1 in BBM, the IOU. It's as cash, baby. Give me just send it over. We'll work this out in February. Don't worry about it. I got it.
I love it. I also think it's great is that all you had to do to find a Burger King crown is go to a Burger King, but you're like, so great. So moving forward, speaking of Burger King, everyone needs a queen. We are doing our queens draft tonight. So we hope it's gonna go okay because ladies in history, am I right, everyone? All right, so Lou, are you gonna generate
yes, I'm generating it right now. Hold on. Oh shit, I got a first pick overall the first time. Oh, by the way, too, I tied for the lead in the last poll, so I tied with Bradley. He's not on the show regularly. We're just going to call it a Louis win. How about that? That sounds right? Everything's showing up Louis this week.
No one wanted King James VI. I have no idea why none of you guys do your history.
All right. I'm first. Allie, you're second. Clayton, you're third. Ryan, you're fourth. We are going to go that route. Go ahead, Allie. You lead us the way.
You're going first.
Oh, I'm going first. Sorry,
okay,
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I was kicking it back.
He's drunk off this win right now.
What's in that bag?
BBM number 1. Oh, you know what I should do? I forgot the lighter. Okay, sorry. I was gonna light up a little, a little. You don't need to. Something. Okay.
Nope.
You want to hear my week 7?
A little peace sign. He's going to light up a peace sign.
That's all we're asking.
This is tough. Okay.
He was going to do the Sammy Sosa over.
I didn't have a clear-cut number 1, but I know one that I'll be super pissed off if I don't get, so I needed to just get it now. But I don't know if there's a clear-cut one. But I want to take with the number 1 pick, Queen Latifah. And I need her on my team. I think that she would have gone maybe somewhere in the next 2 rounds. UNITY, you know what I'm saying? That's a unity. Queen Latifah, pick 1-1 in the Queen's draft. Go ahead, Ellie.
I have someone else who is tied for my number 1, but since I'm not in 4th place, I can't pick it. So I will go. Last week I did Jon Snow as the King of the North. This week I will do Sansa Stark, Queen of the North, for my first pick. Sansa Stark.
I like it. She was on my list. I will say, never mind. I won't say. Go.
No, Jonas sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
That was political. Take that.
I'm just saying what I would do to be a fly in that house with Taylor Swift and Sophie Turner. Let's go.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. They got really weird. I apologize.
The most boring conversation ever.
I'm going to show up at the door. Hey, first place, BBM. Just, I don't know if you know this.
Like,
BBM.
What are you talking about? What is free?
Right.
Is that like a surgery? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, what are you doing to your butt?
Why is this fly talking to me?
Yeah. We picked Queen Latifah, everyone, the big ass fish. Last place, Louis.
All right.
Okay.
Ryan, what is your pick for Queen?
No, I think I'm
no.
Well,
Clayton,
it's me.
Clayton.
Oh, Clay. Let's go, Clayton.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So my first pick, because Queen Latifah has been stolen. We all need that broad shoulder. I'm going to go with Carrie Heffernan. And if you don't know who that is, that's Kevin James' wife in King of Queens.
Listen, you just ruined the bit because literally Kevin James has been on Ryan's team like 3 times in the last 4 drafts, and I could swear he was gonna do that. You ruined I almost wanted to text you today and be like, you have to do that, right? And maybe it was on your list, but now it's been sniped. You've been sniped.
No, it absolutely.
Oh, I knew it was coming. It's in the wins. I knew it. I was like, all right, I gotta grab this up.
That's great.
Well, it wasn't going to be my first pick because I thought I was going to be able to get it, with the 3rd or 4th rounder. So I actually think that I have my top 2 picks still available to me at the 4 and 5. And my 2 picks are Queen, the band. Love Queen. My dad used to listen to it growing, or still would listen to it growing up, and my daughters like it. So definitely play Queen. And then second is Dairy Queen. Who doesn't want some Dairy Queen? So we had Burger King last week with Bradley. I get Dairy Queen this week. I think it's the best. I mean, I know it's franchisey and everything, but man, that you get a vanilla custard from there in the summer, or a Mr. Misty Freeze or float or cherry dip, any of those. I mean, they're just unbelievable. So Dairy Queen, second pick.
Just when you thought Ryan had left the podcast, he shows up again. All right, everyone. Very good, great picks. Clayton,
all right. All right, so I'm gonna kind of play a page in Ryan's book. We're going bands, Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh,
nice.
Fucking love them.
Ellie's mad.
Love them.
Ellie's mad.
Great. Queens of the Stone Age had a song. What was it? NHL. What year was it?
2006.
It might be.
Would have been like,
legit.
It would be it would be 06, 07. Yeah.
Nailed it.
I'm legit sad that you took my. And never coming back to the podcast. Clayton, great job. We love that. Great pick. Very strong pick. No, great job. I guess it's me. Okay, so just because I know I'm probably not going to win because I'm picking another woman. We're gonna pick the Queen, Beyonce.
Oh, that's really good. That's
Queen
good.
Bee.
I had her on. Yeah,
Queen Bee.
Queen
Oh,
Bee.
thanks. Okay.
I
That's
like
a great
that.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Stone Age.
I didn't expect this person to be here still, and it's definitely rounding out. My team is weird, right? Like I'm not saying that, but RuPaul is the best queen ever. What? You got something to say, Clayton?
No, I just knew that was coming, and I was like, very upset.
RuPaul is the queen of queens. Like she is the drag queen of drag queens. She deserved to be a first round draft, but you guys are all gender sensitive people or something. I don't know. I just said things like I said words that didn't all go together. It was just like gender appropriation stuff things. And
Progressive Louis.
I would have waited for this one, but with Clayton being here and a little bit of a wrestling fan, I'm gonna go with Queen Elizabeth, but not the Queen Elizabeth we all think of, not the stupid old bitch in London or wherever she is.
Yeah,
Queen Elizabeth, Randy Savage's wife. Sorry, I called her a bitch. Randy Savage's wife, Queen Elizabeth, was responsible for my first boner ever, for sure. And probably my last one. sometime in the last week or so. I think WWE Network, you get on that old shit and you just see what happens,
I dig it.
Thank you.
I could have said the same thing about Queens of the Stone Age, but it was bad. It's my turn now. Am I up next? We're doubling up.
Yes.
I'm going to say, the mom to the word yes. So like yes, Queen. Like that word. The word yes.
I knew it. The Yas Queen.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God!
You have to pronounce it right. Yas Queen.
Yeah. So the mom to the word yes or yes.
Okay. I want to tell you the actual fact that you drafted it, not funny at all. You trying to explain and say it, funny as fuck. Super funny. That is the whitest yas ever. Yas Queen.
All of my ancestors were like looking up.
That was Howard Dean right there. Yes!
I've never used it in a sentence. So, all right. Yeah. Yes, Queen. Okay.
Clayton.
All right. This is we're going into a little different. We're doing something a little odd. All right, ready? Monique, Queen of Comedy. Original Queens of Comedy, Monique. Like,
so good.
What can you say?
So
she threw the TV. She's like she's got it's the same as like drafting Queen Latifah. It's just like you need a power like just as strong. Like
I dig it. Perfect. Ryan, I know we just took one of your players off your list. Who is your next? Who's your choice number 3?
All right, for my 3 and 4, I'm gonna go with Queen Bees are my next pick. Queen Bees are just badass. I mean, they got I think the other bees like have to all serve the queen bee, so it's a pretty fucking powerful bee. And my last pick is going to be kind of a bro-y pick, but it's going to be Queens Boulevard, which is from Entourage.
I
And
like
there's
that.
just this scene where he's fucking Vinny Jason's talking. He's like, I am Queens Boulevard. I just
I
like
love
in
that.
my head, I'm like just going through it. I'm just like, I am Queens Boulevard. It's
I
just
love
like
it.
he's trying to say it so badass. So yeah, that's my last pick is Queens Boulevard.
That's solid.
That's the movie before Medellin, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his like his pet project.
His passion project. I was going to say his passion project. Who do you want to embrace Vinny Chase's passion
There's
project?
no way.
Oh, and the futuristic DJ. What a show. What a fucking show. Great job. Great pick. Oh my God. All right. So my next one. I'm going all over. Like I have so many. I'm like, I got a lot of ones. None of you have picked a lot of them. So I'm very happy that they're still on my draft. I'm going with the Trap Queen from that Fetty Wap song. Like just she has to be great. Otherwise, why would he make a song about her? I need her. Like it's just platinum hip. Like I just gotta have. I have to have the Trap Queen.
That is so good, so good.
And in last place, Allie, I'm gonna go with the mom version of who I wanted to pick last week.
Sorry, I'm trying to shut it off. Go.
Prince's mom. And okay, Prince. His mom. Prince's mom. All right, everyone. I'm last week.
Oh man.
I hear she's never satisfied. Like,
Clayton is little known fact, not only a funny comic, but Clayton has been the creator of both emblems, one with me and Kyle, and then when Kyle left us and you came on, he made the one with me and you. Clayton, how long do you think it's going to take to make one of me and you when we have to kick Allie off the podcast and bring you on? Can you do that quickly, please?
No, I've already had it made. Like,
just wait. He made it. Listen to the first episode. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna make a new one just in case.
Oh my gosh! Am I on an escalator? I gotta go.
I love Prince's mom. I love it. I really. It's what makes
it's great.
So adorable and okay.
Queen. It's Queen Rogers. Like,
like yeah. That's his real last name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Prince Rogers, Queen.
That's so good.
John, Prince, and Mary Queen. Okay, great. Okay, Louis, who is your final?
I will close this out. I'm going to give you a couple that were on my list that's not going to make the cut. As a father of a 2-year-old and a big fan of Frozen, Elsa is a great queen. She's just not going to make it. We went the Game of Thrones route, so I don't want to go Cersei or the Daenerys, but they were both queens, and both kick-ass queens, but don't want to do another GOT thing. Queen of Hearts is corny. The evil queen from Snow White, corny. I'm between two. You're like, oh yeah. But I'm a Buffalo guy, and I got to go with the Queen City, right? Like, I got to go Queen City to finish this draft. I was between that and Little Kim, the Queen Bee, but, Queen Latifah and her probably would be fighting to, and then RuPaul. There would just be a lot of drama on that team. I'm not saying it because they're all black, and I'm just saying there's a lot of drama. I'm saying it because they're all women. I'm not racist.
But you're sexist, which is still an issue.
I'm just sexist.
Hello? Check 1, 2. Hello? Okay.
My only boundary is misogyny.
We are so grateful, Clayton, for you to be on this podcast. Thank you so much. Again, please, shut what? We had a great week. Ryan, great job. Again, you're killing it in your dynasty league. You always have very great hot takes.
We didn't wait
for another.
We didn't get an opportunity. Ryan does have like a top 3,000 team. Like he's good too.
No, Ryan's picks are like, we always joke because like it's so funny when you go on a soliloquy. But your picks are so good, and you're also killing it in all 400 of your leagues. So great job. Clayton, we appreciate you being on here. Do you want to plug your podcast one more time?
Thank you for having me. Yes, Nobody Watches Everything. It's Fridays and on all the podcast things you want to hear. We have all these fun old episodes. We'll have to have both of you on at some point. We just got to figure out what movie you guys want to talk about. Also, I have to mention, since I was drafting almost like I wasn't going to get my first drafts on everything, and I got into the weeds of Queens at a certain point. I went with like Queen Helene cocoa butter. Like I got real. I was like, that's got to be there.
That's great. Thank you, Clayton. Again, always welcome back. And once again, let's give it up for Louis leading his BBM this week. We really are encouraging you to keep it up. Otherwise, Ryan or Clayton will be in my face on that little. But really, congratulations! I'm so happy for you.
I can't do anything but hope that they don't get hurt and they play well. But I am trolling for all of you that are listening, that you have been tuning into all of my Twitter and the threads about this and shitting on my team. One, fuck you, because it's number one and you're fucking not. And two, I'm going to continue to troll as much as possible. And I'm going to be number one at least until tomorrow at 8:30. And I'm going to walk around with my IOU purchasing for the whole day tomorrow. I'm going to show everybody my phone, because probably at 8:25 tomorrow, I'm definitely going to fall out of one. So let's let it ride for as long as possible. I am the king. I am the king right now.
You are this week's walrus balls. So we really, really appreciate that. Again, thank you, everyone. Please, thank you for listening to Analytics Are for the Nerds.
Like, subscribe, share. Sorry.
Like, subscribe, and share. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.